Welcome to the 26th of August 2025 Nillumbik Shire Council meeting. I'd like to remind members of the public that the meeting will be live streamed and recorded, and the live stream recording will be made available publicly on YouTube and the Council's website. I'd also like to acknowledge that the Nillumbik Shire respectfully acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as traditional owners of the land on which Nillumbik is located. We value the significance of the Wurundjeri people's history as essential to the unique character of the Shire. We pay tribute to all First Nations people living in Nillumbik, give respect to Elders past, present, and extend respect to all First Nations people. We respect the enduring strength of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung and acknowledge the ongoing impact of past traumas, injustices from colonial invasion, massacres and genocide committed against the First Nations people. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Wurundjeri Woiwurrung hold a deep and ongoing connection to this place. We value the distinctive place our First Nations people in both Australia's identity and cultural heritage, care of land and waterways, to their ongoing contribution in many fields, including academia, agriculture, art, economics, law, sport and politics. I'd ask Councillor Mackay to read out the Good Governance Pledge.
As councillors, we are mindful of our civic responsibilities and obligations. We pledge to take them seriously and to carry them out with diligence and integrity. We know the decisions we take will affect the people and environment of Nillumbik now and in the future. We undertake, therefore, to make sound and principled decisions of lasting value in a spirit of fairness and for the good of all. We also pledge to serve the needs and well-being of the community and the environment in an open and honest manner and to the best of our abilities.
Thank you, Councillor Mackay. Welcome to everyone in the gallery, and we'd particularly like to welcome our prayer reader, Father Stephen Rigo. In January of 2017, on request of the Archbishop Hart and the parishes of Sacred Heart, Diamond Creek, St Thomas the Apostle, Greensborough North, were partnered with the parish of St Mary's of Greensborough. Father Rigo was appointed parish priest of all three parishes. The Catholic community is made up of a rich tapestry of people of all ages, cultures and backgrounds. They are united by their faith and their love of God and neighbour. Their goal is to foster a spirit-led community which responds to the needs of the people and neighbours, to live out their mission and vision of becoming a vibrant Christian community and proclaim the gospel and strives to be the face of the Christ in the world. So we'll hand over to Father Stephen to say a prayer for us.
Thank you, Mayor. We first of all hold in our prayers and our thoughts the two police officers who were fatally wounded this morning in Porepunkah, and their families. Wise and loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. We're grateful for your many and abundant blessings. We thank you for life itself, for the measure of health that we need to fulfil our callings. We come before you in gratitude for sustenance, for friendship, and for the responsibilities that we've been given for one another. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honour of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks also for the freedom to embrace you or to reject you. Thank you for loving us even so from your boundless and gracious nature. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens ought to obey the governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. And I ask that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, personal peace in their own lives and joy in their tasks. Empower them to be ministers of your peace and reconciliation. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in the Nillumbik Shire. And may we witness true collaboration in a time where there's so much conflict in our world. In your most blessed name, we make our prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Father Stephen.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to apologies and leaves of absence, as there being none. We'll move on to declarations of a conflict of interest.
Through the chair, I have a material conflict of interest which I'd like to acknowledge for the CEO Employment Matters annual review in the confidential section this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. We'll now move to presentations. Before we start the presentations for all the guys in the room, thanks for being here. We'll just do a quick rundown of the Nillumbik Community Awards, which is outstanding individuals and groups that have gone above and beyond to make Nillumbik a special, inclusive and connected place, and are honoured at the 2025 Nillumbik Community Awards, which was held on Thursday the 14th of August. The awards were held at the Health and Community and Reception Centre and celebrate the contribution of local volunteers, leaders and change makers across a range of categories and recognising the people who enrich our Shire's life. And the winners of each category were: Volunteer of the Year was David Kerrigan. The Community Group of the Year was the Nillumbik State Emergency Services, otherwise known as the SES. Young Citizen of the Year was Ashani Rastogi. Contribution to Arts, Culture and Heritage was Pam Hayes. Contribution to Diversity and Inclusion was Allwood House. Contribution to Environment and Sustainability was Jane Clark. And the contribution to reconciliation was the Yarrambat Junior Football Club. There was over 30 nominations across 7 categories, and the quantity and quality of the nominees reflects the Nillumbik sense of community. There were 180 people in attendance of this showcase event, and it showcased the past achievements and ongoing efforts. It was great to see so many community members show their support and encouragement, and all nominees strengthened their connections with each other. Congratulations to all deserving recipients, and congratulations to the council team that put it together. It was a fantastic night and enjoyed by all. We'll now move on to the cultural and sporting and cultural grants. And we'll lead off with the Councillor for Blue Lake, Councillor Grant Brooker. And if we'd ask, as Councillor Brooker reads out your name, if you could come up to the front, and he'll make a presentation, and if we could get your photo as well, that would be great. So over to Councillor Brooker.
Okay, is this switched on? Okay, fabulous. Look, the Diamond Valley Under-14 boys basketball team receives $500 for being selected to play at the National Club Basketball Championships in Western Australia. The team representing Diamond Valley at the highest state grade has gone undefeated this season. I'll say that again, undefeated this season. I think 2025 will always be the streak for the Diamond Valley Under-14 boys. but their outstanding performance has earned them an invitation from Basketball Australia to join the top 24 teams in the country at the National Club Championships. We congratulate the players and wish them every success at the championships and in their future sporting journeys. And I believe they start on the 27th of September, so a few more weeks of final training sessions to fine-tune everything in preparation. So come up here and get your award. Congratulations to you. Okay. Actually, do we get a photo first or last? Do you want to stand through for the... Yeah, just come here and we'll get that. And then I'll sit down and you've got the microphone. Okay, one here. You're the important person here.
He's a player.
Okay, there's your certificate. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this, and Kobe's going to actually accept the grant on behalf of the under 14 boys. Kobe's actually our captain for the 14, so we have actually lost one game this season. I know, and that was, believe it or not, to Whittlesea, so our neighbour. So we don't mind losing to them actually, but Kobe's going to speak on behalf of the team.
On behalf of Darwin Valley Basketball Under 14 Ones Boys team, I'd like to say thank you to Nillumbik Council for their generous grant. This will go towards some of the team's expenses for the Under 14 National Club Championships, held in Perth at the end of September. Thank you.
I think we had a question about training. Like, did someone want to come to our training? Yeah. Okay, no worries. Okay, that's great. Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay, I obviously did make it clear. As they read out your name, if you could come up while we're reading it out, that would help people be able to look at you while you're basking in your glory. So, Councillor Joyner has an award for the Bunjil Ward.
Holly Gregory, would you like to come up here? Holly receives $250 for being selected to represent Australia in cross-country at the Sports Travel Australia cross-country event in the USA. Holly began competing in cross-country in grade 2 at Glen Catherine Primary School and has consistently excelled, regularly qualifying for state-level SSV competitions. She's now a member of the Diamond Valley Athletics Club and currently attends St Helena Secondary College. We wish Holly the very best for the competition and her future sporting pursuits. Congratulations.
I would like to thank the Nillumbik Council and its members for their generous donation. I am very excited to be competing in Arizona and Nevada. Your generous grant is helping to pay for my flight so I can get to America.
And Councillor Perkins will read out one for Alice Ward.
I'll ask Sienna to come forward. Looks like there's a story to tell here. This might take a while.
Who would have thought a gymnast with an injury?
So what's happened, Sienna?
Oh, I was at training and I was doing a double backflip the other week and I landed short and I broke my foot. So, yeah, that's okay.
How long will you be out for?
Just a couple more weeks and then I'll be back.
Right.
Yeah.
That's no good. Get well soon. So Sienna Pavitt receives $200 for being selected to represent Victoria at the Australian Gymnastics Championships in Queensland. Sienna's been an athlete most of her life, 16 years now, since she was 4. So obviously, I've done my maths, you must be 20. She's represented the Victorian team 4 times throughout her career, and she's also been selected for the Australian Level 10 team, and they're travelling to USA. Actually, she was selected for the Australian Level 10 team, and they travelled to USA in 2024 for international competitions. Sienna was the gymnastics and athletic captain at CLC in 2023. She worked as coach and judge at Jets part-time, as well as training and undertaking university studies. So what are you doing at uni?
I'm doing marketing.
Rightio. Yeah, great. Friendships, teamwork and resilience have been the most powerful skills learnt at Jets Gymnastics, and it's a fabulous centre that cares for every athlete that participates. We wish Sienna all the very best for the competition ahead and her future sporting pursuits and for her left foot.
I just want to say a big thanks to the Olympic Council for this sporting grant. So yeah, I've been doing gymnastics for 16 years at Jets Eltham and Jets Diamond Creek. So it's been a really long journey. Once I'm better, I'll use this grant to travel to Queensland later in the year. So thank you.
And gymnastics was never my thing, but our Director of Governance tells us she broke her foot doing gymnastics, so and she did recover. So we've got another gymnast here who feels your pain. For Wingrove Ward, I'd like to ask Madeline Goldsworthy to come forward, please. Madeline receives $200 to support her selection to represent Victoria in the Australian Youth Indoor Volleyball Championships in Western Australia. Madeline was first introduced to volleyball through the high school program at Eltham and has since become an integral member of the squad. Since beginning the sport in Year 7, she has consistently earned a place in the school's top side, achieving strong results at her level. Madeline has travelled twice to Queensland with Eltham High to compete in the Australian Schools Cup in 2023 and 2024 as part of their top side. Early this year, she represented Victoria in the Youth Volleyball Championships. At club level, Madeline plays with Heidelberg before joining Yarra Rangers in 2024. She currently competes in Prem 2 side, I assume that's Premiership 2 side, and is now heading into finals. We congratulate Madeline on her achievements and wish her every success at the championships and with her sporting future. You'd think I would have brought your award with me, but I'll be back.
I would just like to thank everyone here for helping fund my trip to WA and helping me pursue my sport. Thank you.
Congratulations to all winners, and thanks for coming in, and good luck in the future, and great to see people out using the fantastic sports facilities around the place. We'll now move on to confirmation of minutes. Do I have a mover for the room?
May I move that for you?
Thanks, Councillor Coate. A seconder?
Thanks.
Councillor Joyner. Councillor Coe.
May I recommend that the council confirms the minutes of the council meeting on Tuesday, 29th of July, 2025.
Thank you. And we've got Councillor Joyner seconding that. Councillor Cope, do you wish to say anything? Minutes accepted as. So we'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll move, there are being no petitions, no questions from the gallery, we'll move on to reports of advisory committees. Do I have a mover for this item?
Yes, I will move.
Councillor McKay?
Yep. I will move the advisory committee report, minutes of the advisory committees reported on attachment 1.
Okay, and a seconder for that? Councillor Cope. Councillor McKay, do you have anything you wish to say?
Just briefly, these are the minutes for the Inclusion and Access Advisory Committee, the Health and Wellbeing Advisory Committee and the Youth Council minutes. And I was at the Youth Council and lots of great things happening there. I just want to thank Tanya Treasure and the EcoDev team for coming to talk to the group about economic development and youth business. We also discussed a youth gambling harm prevention project called Against the Odds. And the other main thing we covered in that meeting was, excitingly, we're planning for our biennial Nillumbik Youth Summit. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cope, do you have anything you wish to add? Okay, we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to apparently our live feed is not working. It's just text on the screen. I think it's just one of our people who doesn't know what we're looking at. Sorry. We'll move on to the council plan quarterly performance report 2024-2025, fourth quarter. Do I have a mover for this item?
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
Councillor Joyner, seconded. Councillor Brooker. Councillor Joyner.
Thank you, Mayor. It's difficult to comment on the council plan created by the previous councillors, but I wanted to highlight 2 initiatives that stand out to me. The increased visibility and promotion of environmental volunteering groups. These organisations do invaluable work for our community and often go unrecognised, so any support they receive is commendable. And I admire the work being delivered on the youth strategy and the activities at the Nillumbik Youth Hub in Diamond Creek. The efforts we invest in this area are crucial, and I truly hope that the youth of today take full advantage of this fantastic facility. It's encouraging to see that we have experienced a 240% increase in visits compared to the previous quarter, which is fantastic. And lastly, I would like to acknowledge the key achievements outlined in the recreation and leisure strategy. I think it's important to recognise that these projects are made possible thanks to the Allan Labor government and our wonderful and supportive local MP, Vicky Ward. Council has also contributed significantly to these projects, but they would not be happening without the state government. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. I'd just say to people at home, we are having a camera issue. So if you can only see text, that is how it is at the moment. Our technicians are having a look at it, but it may not get fixed today. But will be edited later on, we hope. We'll move on to Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, the quarterly plan performance report. This is the last report pertaining to the 20 to 24 council and subsequently the 21 to 25 council plan. It highlights a number of areas that were achieved, and I just wanted to speak briefly on a few that have had some minor issues in being achieved, and one of those was the housing strategy that was impacted by the state government's housing reforms. Reforms might be a stretch to call them that, the housing announcements from the state government. I would say that what we have seen is housing just seems to be every day, there is another announcement or another media article about housing. Just this week, we've seen some more announcements from the federal government. And I do say that, you know, our housing strategy will be coming back to us and being adopted by the council. I would say as well, there's a whole lot of strategic indicators in this report that gives an enormous amount of data, some of it taken from our survey. But one of the things was the standout was the response to the sealed local roads maintained to condition standards. One little indicator, the only really significant drop in satisfaction, 18.1%, which is a large drop, and that is the windy mile factor. That is absolutely attributable to the fact that this was the biggest thing in everyone's kind of commuting lives for so many ongoing months, but thankfully has been now fixed. So it's a good road to drive down. I'd also, you know, I'm the chair of the library board. I frequently remind people, but the record number of active members of the library service, now over 50% of the Shire. An explanation may be the introduction of the library Wi-Fi requiring membership to log in to from this March this year. So that was a reason, I think, for the spike. But it is, I think, everybody do yourself a favour. We've got these incredible libraries as part of the network, Eltham, Diamond Valley in our neck of the woods, but also you can go to Mill Park, an incredible building, the upgrade to Laylaw, Watsonia, our nearest library to us. It's getting a renovation right now with a new reading room, so lots of things to see in that space. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak to this item? Councillor Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I might just, report back on an item in the quarterly report that talks about continuing to deliver our capital works program. So, importantly, the 24-25 capital works program has progressed well and slightly ahead of the targeted 80% completion at the moment, or as per the 30th of June. So probably locally in Alice Ward, the most important parts of that capital works program have been delivery of the the Nillumbik Youth Hub, the Diamond Creek netball roof, Ryan's Reserve upgrade, which is going to be officially opened on Friday at 12 o'clock for anyone wanting to attend. Diamond Creek Tennis Courts rejuvenation, that was opened recently. Herbert's Lane Play Space. So, a lot of those projects did take some time, and I sort of find to actually see your capital works program delivered, you really have to attend the next council. So, which is the first year of the next council. So, a lot came together from last council to take quite some time to get those projects up, but they were delivered successfully. So, it's a good report. Thank you.
It's great to see two councillors so proud of the organisation they're working with, and I echo their comments that the library is working well and under the guidance of its chair, Councillor Brooker, and that Councillor Perkins has seen the fruition of his work 4 times, and he's still doing well, as Councillor McKay commented at the start of the meeting. So we'll now go to a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the endorsement of recommended nominees for 2025-2027 Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee. Can I have a mover for this
May
one?
I motion that, please? Mayor?
Councillor Cope, seconded, good, as per the papers, Councillor Cope. Councillor Cope, and seconder, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Cope, do you wish to speak to
May I
the
make a comment, please, Mayor? The Arts and Culture Advisory Committee provides a formal mechanism for the council to consult with key stakeholders, special advice, and enable the community participation in its development. The arts and culture community represents many stakeholders in the group, and it is it's a honorary position, and it's made up of many important artistic people in our community. And we have a committee of 14, and it's changed over at 6 monthly, which last night at our meeting we saw some members leave and may be re-elected again in this new lot. But I must thank their commitment to helping the community in the arts area and providing our area in Nillumbik a fantastic community arts and culture performance in the area. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Cope. Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I want to thank all those residents who nominated for the committee. I do think a policy of renewal, meaning there is a changeover potentially after 1 year of the 2-year term, means there is a continual possibility of new voices, new ideas, new perspectives, which does seem to me to be healthy in this area of working in this creative space and advising the council in this creative space. So there's always some capacity to refresh things, and I'm sure that the new committee members will be bringing that fresh perspective. I do want to also comment on those that were unsuccessful this time round. The calibre and experience and work skills and backgrounds of the people who are not on the committee, I think speaks volumes about those who were successful. It really was a very, very impressive group of people really committed to the arts and furthering the arts in Nillumbik. So I'm glad I had no involvement in the scoring of the applications because it would have been an absolutely really, really difficult task to do. I'm sure all of the applicants would have made a great contribution to the committee, but 16 into 8 doesn't go. So we do have to make a decision about who can serve on the committee and who may reapply in a couple of years' time. There's a great range of skills that you read about. There's people in visual arts and digital, with digital experience, writing, sculpture, AI, a whole lot of attributes that are going to bring a lot of skills to that committee. So we're really pleased that's going to be represented, and we look forward to what they come up with in the next few years. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? In that case, we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. So, Councillor Cope, would you like to announce the names for the Arts Committee?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd like to elect the successful applicants, and the council endorses the 8 applicants as follows. Applicant 1, Nusa Latif Quresha for the role of Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee member. Applicant 2, Samina Posofagigi for their role in the Arts and Cultural Committee member. Applicant 3, Amanda Grant for their role as the Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee member. Applicant 4, Cassie May for the role as Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee member. 5, applicant Les Zig for the role as Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee member. Applicant 6, Michael Shiel for the role as Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee member. Applicant 7, Kirsten Paulson for their role as Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee member. And applicant 8, David Kerrigan for the role as an Arts and Culture Advisory Committee member. We acknowledge and thank all the community members who submitted the application to the Arts and Cultural Advisory Committee, and we resolve that the assessment outcome is to remain confidential at this stage, as specified in the definition of confidential information in section 3.1F of the Local Government Act 2020. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Cope. We'll now move on to the report on the reconciliation of special charge scheme for Jalna Court in Eltham. Do I have a mover for this item?
Yes, I move that...
Councillor Mackay.
Yes, I move that council varies the amount of the special charge scheme for Jalna Court in Eltham as per the papers, and notes that council officers will notify property owners in the scheme of the applicable variation. And most importantly, provide a refund to them.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Mackay, would you like to speak?
Just to say that this is a formality, and we're pleased to endorse a 3.36% refund to the two property owners of number 1 and 6 Jalna Court, who've had their road sealed under the special charge scheme, and glad to be refunding you $773.51 each for coming slightly under budget. And that is all.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Perkins?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Very happy to support this. Nothing gives me greater joy than giving money to the residents of Eltham, and this is another time where I can happily weigh in. About $750 each. So, you know, congratulations. I've done lots of good things for Eltham. This is just one more. I don't recall the meeting. It was the 28th of May last year. It's my birthday is on the 28th of May every year. I think I might have been in Bali when this was declared, and I tend to go there every year around that time. But yeah, it's good news for both the residents. There's only 2 properties involved in this special charge scheme, which is fairly unusual, I would have thought. But it's a court. Obviously, only 2 property owners wanted to weigh in, and the declared cost was $46,070, and the actual cost was the declared cost was $46,070, but the actual cost was $44,522. So about $1,550 shared between the 2 Eltham residents. So yeah, great news. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Perkins, and I'm sure the residents of Eltham are eternally grateful for your ongoing support. We will now take a vote, so all those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the item Acknowledgement of Country. Do I have a mover for this item?
Yes, I'll move that. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Mackay, a seconder.
That's right. I will move that Council endorses the updated short and long acknowledgements of country prepared in consultation with the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung elders for use in council meetings, events, publications and communications, and acknowledge the acknowledgement on Country Guide in Attachment 1.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. And the seconder, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Mackay.
Yes, the background to this is that when council officers have submitted our reconciliation action plan to Reconciliation Australia, we were provided with some feedback that some of the language in council's current acknowledgement of country required updating. And so an acknowledgement of country provides a powerful opportunity for truth-telling, broader education about First Nations history of Nillumbik, and to strengthen our ongoing commitment to reconciliation. So The new short version of the Acknowledgement of Country can be used in written format and small council documents in agendas, and for verbally to begin formal meetings and internal meetings, and reads as such: Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledges and recognises Wurundjeri Woiwurrung as the traditional owner of the land in which Nillumbik is located. We pay tribute to all First Peoples living in the Nillumbik Shire, give respect to elders past, present and emerging, and extend our respect to all First Peoples. We acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. The long version of the Acknowledgement of Country can be used in public speeches and to begin significant events and in larger council publications, and reads as such: Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledge and recognise the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung as the traditional owner of the land on which Nillumbik is located. We pay tribute to all First Peoples living in the Nillumbik Shire, give respect to elders past, present and emerging, and extend our respect to all First Peoples. We recognise the enduring strength of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung despite the ongoing impacts of past trauma and injustices from colonial invasion, massacres and genocide committed against First Peoples. We value the significance of the Wurundjeri people's history as essential to the unique character of the Shire. Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people are deeply entwined to these lands and waterways, and we celebrate the distinctive place of First Peoples in the identity of the Nillumbik Shire and across Australia. Nillumbik recognises the valuable contributions of First Peoples in all aspects of Australian society. So that is the example of hopefully what we're going to be using moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, a few points to make. Dot point 9 of the report, it does say councillors can depart from the script that was submitted to Reconciliation Australia and subsequently work through with Wurundjeri elders. That councillor variation is encouraged in less formal settings, not council meetings, things of that sort, maybe informal outdoor settings. I'm trying to conjure up a time where you would be able to do so. The important thing is that this has been now, I think, recognised by the two groups that need to, which is Reconciliation Australia and the Wurundjeri elders. I would say, I think, the short version is both versions, but the short version, I guess, is going to be my preference moving forward. But both versions, importantly, I think, take you through the journey of reconciliation, and that is where it's best achieved and the sentiments are best expressed. Being appreciated, being respected, being recognised, make us all a little bit bigger and just that little bit better. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? On that note, we'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the Sandra Avenue Special Charge Scheme. I have a mover.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Mackay.
Yes, I move that Council abandons further investigation into the special charge scheme for Sandra Avenue in Eltham, places any further investigations into a special charge scheme for Sandra Avenue on a 3-year moratorium commencing today, the 26th of August 2025, and note that officers will advise affected property owners of the Council's resolution.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah, thanks.
Councillor Joyner. Councillor Mackay.
Just to report that when this was put out for consultation of the residents of Sandra Avenue, it got a 50% in favour of the resealing under the special charge scheme, and that is under the 60% threshold for us to be doing that. Thus this procedure today.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Joyner wish to say anything? No. Any other councillors wish to comment? No. We'll then take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the Community Engagement Policy Review 2025. Do I have a mover for this item?
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
Councillor Joyner.
I move that Council approves the draft Community Engagement Policy 2025 as per Attachment 1 and authorises the draft Community Engagement Policy 2025 to be placed on community consultation from 1st to the 30th of September 2025 and for engagement initiatives to be undertaken to receive community feedback.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor McKay. Councillor Joyner.
Thank you. I am intrigued to hear the feedback from the community consultation that will be open throughout September on the community engagement policy. We've recently heard from the public that about the desire of more transparency and a stronger voice in decision making, as well as improved project outcomes, something I believe we all want to achieve. Notably, we have seen a significant increase in site visits to participate in Nillumbik. In 2022, we had 18,433 visits, and this year that number has risen to 24,176, marking an increase of nearly 6,000 visits per year. We have experienced a 40% growth in new subscribers, and most importantly, submissions have also grown by nearly 500 over the past 3 years. A summary of the changes included in the review of this policy are a greater focus on inclusive engagement, clarification on how submissions will be heard, a commitment to providing accessible information, improved reporting processes, alignment with the council plan, updated definitions. So we invite you to share your feedback with us. If you feel that your voice isn't being heard, please visit Participate Nillumbik, attend a drop-in session at the local libraries or Edendale Farm, or stop by to say hello at the Wattle Festival or Diamond Creek Rotary Fair. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Councillor McKay, do you wish to make a comment?
Just briefly, that I just enjoy this so much that we're going to engage with you about how we engage with you. So for those out there that feel like we're not engaging with you, we are really trying hard. Exhibit A. And we're going to engage with you via, as Councillor Joyner said, online survey and Participate Nillumbik, local drop-in sessions at libraries and Edendale Community Farm. We're going to do social media, Nillumbik News, through our advisory committees and youth council, emails, e-newsletters and printed materials. So we are trying really hard here, and I might recommend that if you don't know about our e-newsletters, please subscribe, because I actually think that's the best way to get things of interest to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McKay. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I'm encouraged by my colleagues there and their talk about engagement on the community engagement policy. Just a note of caution from me. You know, it is hard to imagine criticism of the policy on a principle or on a philosophical basis. However, I'm putting to this meeting and subsequently, there's very likely to be disagreement on its implementation and on its execution. The policy sets a very high bar, including a value statement from the IAPP, that is the kind of Bible on public participation and the guidelines therein. It has a statement of council principles, a statement about when, who, how we engage, as well as a statement about reporting back to the community and council on the engagement. I also know one thing for absolute certain. Whenever council is involved in a contentious area, a politically charged area, or one of one kind or another, the group that is having the change done to them will object to the engagement. They will say that it was ill-informed. They will object to the outcome, that they will say it was predetermined. They will object to the engagement, that they will say was ill-timed. They will object that the information provided was factually wrong and so incomplete to make the engagement meaningless. So that is, I think, really the real politique of this thing. This is a high bar that we have to be conscious of. So knowing that, I also know that this comprehensive policy we're liable to be criticised for not following it faithfully and not following its stated intentions and departing from its principles. And those criticisms will be directed to councillors. So what do we do is really the question. Well, what you have to do is think about when you're putting out a topic for engagement, that you really involve internally all the council departments, that you plan the approach and you ask the questions not just of the council comms teams, but of all the council departments. And how is this consistent with their own practices, not just their policies, but what they're doing, and how is it consistent with them? So, you know, what I would say is we need to be aware also of resource constraints when putting these engagement policies out there. Often there's a culture that's a little bit risk averse, there's a tendency to think this is box checking. So, you know, we really are seeking the community input. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? No? Okay, we've got a cautionary tale there from Councillor Brooker, and I think he is absolutely on the money as usual. We need to make sure that we listen carefully on this policy and that we are prepared to put it into play. We accept that not all our decisions are going to be popular, but we will work through and do the best we can with the best information we're able to achieve. So I'd encourage everyone to be involved, and if not in this one, in issues that do affect you. So with that said, we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now review instruments of subdelegation under the Environment Protection Act of 2017. Do I have a mover? Councillor Perkins.
Thank you. I move that Council, in the exercise of the power conferred by Section 43(7)(2) of the Environment Protection Act 2017 and the instrument of delegation of the Environment Protection Act or the Environment Protection Authority under the Act, dated 4th of June 2021, Nillumbik Shire Council resolves that. The rest as per the papers. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Seconded, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Perkins.
Just that Council subscribes to a delegation service by Maddocks Lawyers, and that provides recommended updates to the instruments of delegation twice a year to ensure they remain aligned with the legislative changes that might have happened. This current update provides no updates to the existing powers included in the instrument of subdelegation, but there are a couple of abbreviations and position changes on page 2, and they've been slightly modified. They now align with the organisational structure. However, this is an administrative update. It does not affect the intent of the delegated powers, so there's effectively no change to the subdelegation under the EPA Act 2017. Just some abbreviations that have changed to reflect the current positions in the council with the council officers. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Perkins. Councillor Brooker. No comment. Any other councillors wish to speak on the matter? That being the case, we'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move to the item calling for an extraordinary council meeting. Do I have a mover?
Yes, thanks.
Councillor Joyner.
I move that Council calls an extraordinary council meeting to be held on Wednesday the 26th of November 2025 at 32 Civic Drive, Greensborough, commencing at 7 p.m, to consider the following matters: appointment of a second temporary chairperson, mayor term for the 2025-2026 council year, election of the mayor for the 2025-2026 council year, election of the deputy mayor for the 2025-2026 council year, appointment of chairpersons to the planning and consultation committee for the 2025-2026 council year, councillor appointments to advisory committees, council appointments to external organisations, council meeting and delegated committee meeting dates for 2026, and endorsement of the 2027 citizenship ceremony date for 2027. And request that the Chief Executive Officer gives public notice of the extraordinary meeting being scheduled for Wednesday, the 26th of November 2025.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Joyner, do you wish to speak to the item?
No, thanks.
Councillor Perkins, do you wish to speak to the item?
Yeah, thank you. Look, this is probably one of the most important meetings on the council calendar. Sometimes we have, every month we have a council meeting, 2 statutory meetings per month, and occasionally there aren't too many people in the gallery. Jim's always here, thank you, Jim. But apart from that, there can be as few as one attending meetings. We hope that people put this date in their diary because it is an important meeting. Wednesday the 26th of November, as we look forward to who the mayor for next year might be. Happy to support the motion.
Thanks, Councillor Perkins. Anyone else wish to speak to the item? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the tender report for Kangaroo Ground Tower restoration works. Do I have a mover for this? Councillor Cope. Would you like to move the motion as per the papers?
Yes, may I move this motion for as per the papers? It's quite a long draft, so I'll leave it up to the papers. Okay, in difference, the motion is continued. Notes that any variations that exceed the agreed approval budget will require a further council resolution.
Do you just want to go to point 8, which is the variation from the papers?
Point A.
The red one at the bottom?
Okay, per the papers with item 8 included, which means continues to liaise with the CFA on this project and ensure that the CFA access to the fire spotter cabin is maintained throughout the contracted works.
Thanks, Councillor Cope. So, as per the papers, with an addition of item 8, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Cope, do you wish to speak to the motion?
May I mention that this is a very, very important capital works or maintenance works to the tower in the Sugarloaf ward. It's a very important fire tower that is used during the season to observe the large expanse of our Nillumbik Shire very forested area, which is very important for spotting fires. It's been in there since, I think, almost pre-war, and it's a very vital part to the community, and it's very important that the Nillumbik Council does do this maintenance to the tower and improvement, because it's, even though it's an anachronism of how fire spotting is, it's still a very important part of our fire security during the summer season. I believe it will be an asset to the community too, because it's a very historical component in our ward. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Cope. Councillor Perkins, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, probably primarily around the report, and when I read through the report, particularly stakeholder engagement, or I think that the heading in the report is consultation, perhaps, sorry, I'm looking for it now. There is a line item that talks around stakeholder engagement or consultation, community consultation. And, there was no mention of...
Item number 27, I think
there
you're
we are,
looking
thank
for.
you. That'll help. Yeah, so stakeholder consultation / communication. So the report speaks to the fact that consultation was undertaken with the community events and place team to engage with Parks Friends of Group and obtain their input and opinion on the proposed scope of works. And it talks about a signboard being installed and a communications update published on the council website, but there was no mention of the use of the memorial tower as a fire spotting tower over each and every fire danger period. So I thought that was concerning in itself, that the major stakeholder, really the number one that should have been on the list for consultation and thereby be in the report, was not mentioned. So fortunately, Claire Quinlan, our Director of Infrastructure Maintenance, if that's still the role, or Chief Financial Officer, was able to put my concerns to ease by explaining that officers had indeed liaised with CFA and will continue to do, to ensure that there's no impact of these works on the operation of the tower. It's a very important fire spotting tower, not just for Nillumbik, but for this part of Victoria, because as fire towers work, they triangulate, or more often 4 or 5 points. There's a network of fire spotting towers across Victoria, and this is one very important part of it. I know locally the volunteers in CFA and Nillumbik, they number about 1,000 or towards 1,000, are very proud and know that how important this tower is. I suppose going back to 2020, my concern was heightened because there was a sort of a move by officers in terms of formulating a master plan for the development of the Kangaroo Ground War Memorial Park that actually initially proposed deleting the fire spotting tower, which got everyone very concerned. So I just sort of want to ensure, into the future that officers are very aware of the importance of this tower, not just as a memorial tower to remember those who have died in defence of the country, but also, the fact that it is used every summer during the fire danger period, and on high-risk days in particular, there's people up there and looking for fires, not just in the rural parts of the Shire, but also the urban parts. Because what you can do with a fire spotter is not just spot the fire, but also track the progress, and you can tell about how the fire's developing. It provides really good information. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Councillor Perkins. Just to clarify, Claire Quinlan is our Chief Operating Officer and Director of the infrastructure area of the council. I'll hand over to Councillor McKay to speak on the matter.
I just wanted to outline for those listening at home that these will be heritage restoration works, and they will include repairs to existing deteriorated timber landings, render repairs, repointing works, window repairs, internal painting and waterproofing of the deck and parapet. Specifically.
Thanks, Councillor McKay. Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I want to acknowledge, and we have had earlier acknowledgement tonight about the state government, but the Restoring Community War Memorials and Avenue of Honour grant was one of the grants that has contributed to this project. It's one of the smaller ones to the value of $30,000, one of the smaller contributions in the context of the overall project, but nonetheless, it means that it is an amount of $30,000 that we don't have to find elsewhere in our budget, and so we gratefully acknowledge that receipt of that money. That is the maximum amount available under that grant. So this is quite a lot of some really specialised work and expertise needed by the tenderer in performing this work, and they do have some. Well, it looks all the tenderers had experience and expertise in delivering heritage-type restorations. So it'll be pleasing to see how that all plays out. And I'm sure the Friends of the Kangaroo Ground Memorial Tower would say that this iconic piece of Nillumbik infrastructure that is restored, this iconic landmark really in the Greater Melbourne area, is upgraded not just for the Kangaroo Ground community but for all visitors to this tower, and it's certainly one of Nillumbik's most recognised tourist attractions. I'm sure there's also going to be many artists around Nillumbik who will be visiting the reinterpreting of this restoration in their own individual way, and so expect some paintings around the place of the Kangaroo Ground War Memorial Tower, maybe the Eltham Rotary Art Show, places like that. You'll see the tower depicted in its replenished and fine state. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Joyner.
Thank you. I'd just like to echo my fellow councillors' remarks on the importance of this monument by explaining a bit of its history. The Kangaroo Ground Memorial Park opened in 1921 and the Tower of Remembrance was unveiled in 1926 to honour all those from the district who fought and died in the First World War. Constructed from local sandstone, the tower is designed to resemble a traditional Scottish watchtower, and the local community also planted rosemary and pine sapling from Gallipoli around the base of the tower. As the tower approaches its 100th anniversary next year, it is appropriate for it to undergo restoration works to preserve its structure.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Any other councillors wish to speak? I'd echo the sentiments. It's a great place, and it's a great area to view the rest of the Shire. So if you've got nothing to do on a weekend or even during the week, get along to the Kangaroo Ground Tower and check it out. So we'll take a vote on that item. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. And I'd just like to note that the successful tenderer is OC Stone Proprietary Limited, and the sum is for $278,836.77, plus a contingency of $41,825.51. Congratulations to OC Stone Proprietary Limited. And thank you for all other tenderers. We'll now move on to the contract for annual supply of concrete works, which is a panel tender. So I'll move by Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the motion as per the papers.
Seconded, Councillor Joyner. Councillor Brooker.
Just a comment on the tender process. The report lists a number of tenderers that were not sufficiently competitive and some that were double the cost of the preferred tenderer. Given the number, it's pleasing to see that the tender process itself is delivering best value for Nillumbik residents. My thinking is in this area that the one principal advantage that council has in tendering for product services like concrete supplies is the assurance that the contractor will be paid for the work delivered. If there is a guarantee of payment, which there is in the council, you can offer the best and most competitive price. And that is because you don't have to consider non-payment or non-payment from a company that goes broke or declares bankruptcy or goes into receivership. And we've seen many examples of that in the last 12 months, 2 years, particularly in the construction field and in the property field more broadly. So a risk that you don't have to factor in when tendering with Nillumbik Council is that you will get paid and you'll get the prospect to keep getting paid, provided you do meet, the quality levels of the council. So that is one area that I'm sure the procurement team is absolutely making clear to all of our prospective tenderers in securing the best value for Nillumbik residents. That's all I have to say about that tender. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Joyner? Any other councillors wish to speak? Okay, on that note, we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously, even though Councillor Perkins is disappointed with the impact of that statement. Just encouraging, Peter. I'll just recognise that Pavcon Concrete, MJ Constructions Group and DiCarlo Constructions are the successful panel members of that particular tender. Thank you. Congratulations to those tenderers, and thank you for all the others who have put in a tender bid. We'll now move on to appointment of Audit and Risk Committee independent member. Sorry, I was jumping the gun. We'll now move on to the contract for the provision of public-facing website services. Do I have a mover for this? Councillor Mackay.
Yes, thank you. I will move this as per the papers. I'll read the first note, which has had a slight amendment. So that Council accepts a tender submitted by the preferred tenderer for the sum of the retroactive price, which we'll find out very soon. And there's no contingency with this contract. And the rest as per the papers, please.
So as per the papers, with the contingency removed, do we have a seconder for that motion? No. Councillor Cope. Councillor Mackay, do you wish to speak to the item?
Just briefly to explain what this is for. So this is for the council's public-facing websites, including the management of the Corporate Council website, Indale Community Farm, Living and Learning, youth subsites and the My City Community Service Directory. And it's a very important thing to get right because we have over 2 million page views per year. So we're very invested in this tenderer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Cope, do you wish to speak? Any other councillors wish to speak on the item? Councillor Brooker.
Look, this is the largest and the longest tender we're approving this evening. The tender is for 5 years with options for an extension. Look, as we've said, the website, as outlined, is a very, very significant touch point with 2 million members of our community, or that many, touch points over the course of a year for the community and the council. I would say that the tender process is designed to get the best value, and the lowest price doesn't necessarily represent the best value, but I do look forward to the improvements that will be part of this contract for the next 5 years as they modernise, update, refine, make better, streamline, all those things of the Nillumbik Council website. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Does any of the other councillors wish to speak? As we've seen tonight with technology, it doesn't. You do need to have people on the spot. So our Director of Culture and Performance has also stepped in as our IT, and we've got a makeshift patch, but it's the importance of having people on the spot to make sure technology is working, and I think that is accounted for in this tender. With that said, we'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously.
Can I say that? Can I read that?
Yeah, if you could tell us who...
Yes. So the successful council accept the tender submitted by Granicus Australia for the sum of $1,047,138. $1.75 as per the papers, and attachment 1 as per the rest.
Thanks,
Congratulations to Granicus.
And thanks to all other applicants or all other tenderers. Thank you, Councillor Mackay. And now we'll move on to appointment of Audit and Risk Committee independent member. Do I have a mover?
Yes, thank you.
Councillor Joyner.
I move that Council appoints Lisa Tripodi as an independent member of the Audit and Risk Committee for a 3-year term effective from the 1st of October 2025 and advises Ms Tripodi accordingly, and notifies the other applicants of Council's decision and thanks them for their application.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Seconded, Councillor Brooker. Councillor Joyner.
Thank you. The Mayor and myself are the two councillors that sit on the Audit and Risk Committee, where we recently bid farewell to Gregory Hollyman, a valued member of the Audit and Risk Committee. This created a vacancy on the committee, which consists of 3 independent members and 2 councillors. And the process for filling this vacancy was via an external advertisement that was published, where we received 50 applications for the position. Lisa Tripodi emerged as the successful candidate, thanks to her breadth of professional expertise, experience, understanding and exposure to both the private and public sectors. The Mayor and I look forward to welcoming Lisa to her 3-year appointment at our next meeting, following her start date on the 1st of October.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Councillor Brooker.
Look, I was just about to say the same thing, but 50 applicants for this job. It was very much sought after. And congratulations to Lisa, who has navigated through that process and emerged as the successful person on the committee. And again, it's not for the first time tonight. I'm really, really glad I was not on that selection committee that had to perform that function. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? I'd just like to say I'm looking forward to working with Ms Tripodi, and she does come highly credentialed and highly recommended, so we're very excited to have her on board. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to Instruments of Appointment and Authorisation, Planning Environment Act 1987.
May I move this, please, Mayor? Again?
I feel like it's Groundhog Day,
Yes.
Councillor Mackay.
Yes, I will move the motion that Council, in the exercise of powers conferred by S147(4) of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, resolves that the Nillumbik Shire Council staff, the long list of ever-changing Nillumbik Shire Council staff in the instrument of appointment, and a special addition there for John Actag specifically, be appointed and authorised to set out in the instrument. John's just on the regular list, but his name came up late, so he's got a special mention there. And the rest as per the papers.
Sorry. Thank you, Councillor Mackay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Joyner. Councillor Mackay, do you wish to speak to it? No. Councillor Joyner. Any other councillors wish to speak to it? The item. That being the case, we will take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to informal meetings of councillors, the records for the 26th of August 2025. Do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Cope.
May I move the motion as per the papers, please?
Thanks, Councillor Cope. Seconder? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Cope, do you wish to speak to the item?
No.
Councillor Perkins. Any other councillor wish to speak to the item? In that case, we'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. There are no notices of motion There are no delegates' reports. There's no supplementary or urgent business. So at this point, we will close the meeting to take confidential reports, and we'll excuse the CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, just reconfirming my material conflict of interest in the confidential item. Thank you.
So we will now close the meeting to consider, sorry. So can I get a mover for the formal recommendation to close the meeting? Councillor Brooker, and
Well, I move the motion as per the papers.
a seconder, please. Councillor Joyner. Councillor Brooker, do you wish to speak to it? Councillor Joyner. Any other councillors? No. That being the case, we'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move into a closed meeting. We'll ask the gallery to leave and the public meeting will now be closed. So we thank everyone for their attendance. We know we've got at least one viewer out there because they've been sending us text messages about the about it. But and we thank everyone for their attendance today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time at Council Vision.
Thank you.